Howdy folks, let's talk tree health. This tree here is a very good sap producer before it got injured. Last year we had a windstorm and it twisted the tree and then all the bark fell off the tree. This means that we cannot tap this tree any longer and it will most likely be used for firewood or a dead log. Meaning the dead log is used for birds and insects to burrow into for the winter and to get food from. The birds will eat the bugs inside the tree. This tree will most likely, in our case, become firewood. This firewood will be used to run our evaporator, and we cut no live trees around here. For the simple factor of each tree that we have around here serves a purpose. The fir serves a purpose for boughs, for Christmas wreaths. The maple trees create maple syrup. We have birch trees that we tap and make birch syrup. Pardon for my stuttering, it's a bit cold out here today. The sap is running, but it's like just a little bit above freezing, which means it's running very slow. Now, we will cut junk trees. That's a junk tree right there. That tree right there is a poplar, and that poplar has died. It's pretty well dead. Then we got a whole bunch of them that will be going to firewood to run our evaporator this year. We're a little late on collecting firewood. As you can see, there's a foot of snow on the ground, and we only have about a quart of firewood gathered. This spile is not running. This tree is not running. It got tapped in a little crooked. That's why it's kind of slanted like that. We have had a lot of wind lately, and some of the spiles will come out of the tree when we didn't tap them in hard enough because it was supposed to get cold and we didn't seat them properly. Now we make trails all through our woods to every tree, pack them down as hard as we can, and we put as many trees as we can on each trail. There's a few of the pieces that we use to make our cement evaporator. Now continuing on, we tap trees just as test spiles lately because it's not quite the season. The season runs from March, late February to early March, mid-March maybe. Sometimes it can run up to 4 to 5 weeks, which is a good season, but it's a lot of work. It's 40 gallons of sap to 1 gallon of maple syrup. Each tree can produce around 4 to 5 gallons of maple sap in a day. Pardon me for messing up again. But this tree here is another sign of splitting. We decided to tap this tree, which we weren't going to because most likely this will become firewood next year. It's one of our junk maples. It's half dead and it's starting to become quite ill. We got a few small trees here that we'll cut out because we gotta be putting in our maple syrup lines here very shortly. There will be videos on putting up the maple syrup lines when the time comes. These trees here that are all around these maples, right there, are all trees that we cut that were dead. We had a little bit of an illness come through our trees called spruce bugs. We're not honestly sure if it was them, but we're close to ruling them as the culprit. We got a few maples here that are around 8 to 10 inches. They are very much so tappable. This tree here these two trees here could even withstand 2 spiles. A lot of people will tell you that 12 to 18 inches will be tappable for only 1 spile. But we have found that 2 spiles of the tree saver spiles, the 5/16 spiles, spiles that I showed you the other day are spiles that can help you get more sap out of your trees and not hurt the trees as much as the 7/16 big old maple syrup spiles. The classic look of the spiles is the bucket on the tree with the lids and horses and wagons carrying the sap from the bush to the sugar shack. That is no longer the case in modern times now. That is what we try to do, but we don't have any horses. We are going to be doing sap lines this year on what I call the Harlan piece. It's our neighbor's land. And he has so kindly let us tap his trees last year, and we got the most sap that we have ever gotten on his land. Now, just on our property alone, we have around 400 to 500 trees that are tappable size. But they are so far apart that it's hard for us to get to them. This spile is not running, as you can see, but it will soon. It's about 34 degrees out right now, 2 degrees above freezing. But also I think the barometric pressure is low. The barometric pressure helps the tree create pressure to put the sap up into the branches of the trees to create leaves. Them leaves create the maple syrup that we all know and love through a process called photosynthesis.